Welcome back to Trucking Panthers. My name's Will. Join me on a journey as I travel through South London into Central. I'm previewing the Usyk versus Dubois heavyweight world title fight that's happening on Saturday. I'm very much looking forward to it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe.
Right, so we're just on the outskirts of Wandsworth. Pulling out of the Shell garage where I just bought a new foam mount. Got myself a drink. So we are headed for a location in East London, and we're just under an hour away. We're not allowed to get there till 9 o'clock, and the time is currently 8:06. At the moment my ETA says we're going to get there at exactly 9 o'clock. I expect that to probably wander. So we're just coming up to West Hill. We've got here on the A3, and we're going to stick on the A3 for the moment. Will we make these lights? Yes, we will. It's all 20 mile an hour through Wandsworth. Cyclist was thinking about a suicide dash there. Fan. This is the way I actually used to come up to Stamford Bridge. Used to go over Wandsworth Bridge here, which we're not doing today, and then park up more or less, well, just the other side of the bridge really, because then it's an easy walk through to the ground. One of the best places to park. I've not been to the bridge in a while. Certainly a good result for us winning the Club World Cup. So today is Wednesday. On Saturday I will be going to Usyk versus Daniel Dubois. I'm certainly looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a good fight. I was at the fight when Dubois knocked out Anthony Joshua. So, yeah, I'm definitely expecting a good fight on Saturday. I believe Usyk's a great fighter. However, I feel like at heavyweight, he's slightly overrated. I mean, you can't knock him because he's beaten everyone, but he has to be. But I feel like he's beatable at heavyweight. I think Derek Chisora showed that. I know it was his first heavyweight fight, but he showed when a big guy puts pressure on him, he finds it difficult. There's no doubt he's improved since then, but I feel like Daniel can certainly give him problems, and indeed in their first fight he did give him problems, and I believe that was a genuine knockdown. I don't believe that was a low blow. That doesn't mean that Usyk wouldn't have got up and still won the fight, but Daniel is a massive puncher, like, no question, a massive puncher. So I think as much as Usyk would have got up from the shot had it not been called a low blow, I also think it's entirely possible that Dubois would land a finishing blow on Usyk. And make no mistake, if Dubois lands flush on Usyk, as good a chin as Usyk's got, he will knock Usyk out. He is a murderous puncher, is Dubois. So yeah, make no mistake about that. I think the things that are in Usyk's favour are obviously his experience, his footwork, his all-round ability. I mean, Usyk's a hard enough puncher to keep you honest, for sure, without being a devastating puncher. He tends to break you down, and then he's incredibly accurate, so he will break you down and then punish you with accurate shots, and you know, even knock you out with accurate shots. But he's certainly not a massive puncher at heavyweight. I didn't really think he was a massive puncher at cruiserweight. Again, he tended to just break people down and knock them out with his accuracy as opposed to raw power. Dubois, on the other hand, I think his strengths are obviously his power. He's got a good jab when he utilises it, and I think one of his best attributes that could serve him well in this second fight against Usyk is what he showed against Joshua. He is not afraid to throw punches at the same time that you're landing yours. He, you know, we've seen him hurt, he can be hurt, but he's not afraid to be hurt, and he knows that if he throws a punch at the same time you throw your punch, his is likely to do more damage than yours, because he is a murderous puncher. Very, very heavy-handed, without really needing to wind up. He's just naturally heavy-handed. I think his biggest weakness going into this fight is I don't want to be unkind, but I don't think he's particularly bright. It doesn't strike me as a massive thinker. So it's quite a juxtaposition to Usyk, who clearly is a thinker and thinks his way through fights. You know, Usyk can adapt and probably has a few ways to win. I'm not sure that we've seen Dubois adapt too much in fights. All that said, if we look at sort of the last three fights, I don't believe that Usyk has improved, whereas I do believe that Dubois has improved. certainly improved his belief as well, which he needed to rediscover after the loss to Joe Joyce. But I think the fight is at the right time for Daniel Dubois. I don't know how much longer Usyk's going to stick around, and I think if Dubois ever could beat Usyk, then I suspect that Saturday is the day. You know, Dubois can definitely improve. I'm not doubting that, but I feel if he were to lose at the weekend, I don't think that would be a mountain that he would ever be able to climb again, just from a confidence standpoint, but we'll see. So my prediction for Saturday, it's a difficult one, because I truly believe that if a big heavyweight really puts it on Usyk, they will beat it. You know, not any heavyweight, but a top tier large heavyweight. I believe if they really put it on Usyk, they will win. I believe that Joshua had the attributes. Just mentally perhaps wasn't as strong as you need to be to fight Usyk, and I think that's what let Dubois down in his first fight against Usyk. I think that fight came too early for him, and he wasn't ready to win that fight. He very nearly did, but I think that loss, if ever you can win with a loss, I think that would be the case for him there. I think he has a lot more belief in himself since that fight, and certainly since knocking Joshua out. Especially as when he knocked Joshua out, he took a big shot on the way in. He was absolutely hurt, which is why he called Joshua coming in, because Joshua saw that he had him hurt. But Dubois showed that he's not afraid to be hurt, and he's not afraid to throw when he's hurt. So we'll see. It's going to be a good fight. What do I predict? I'm going to go ahead and predict that Daniel Dubois is going to knock Usyk out. I don't know what the bookmakers are saying. I suspect that will be fairly attractive odds for the knockout, because Usyk is so clever. But I just feel like the fight's at the right time for Dubois, and he's learnt from his last few fights. So I'm going to predict a stoppage for Dubois around round 9. I think Usyk's footwork and toughness will get him into the second half of the fight. But I think as he starts to tire, obviously both men will tire. Usyk's footwork is going to tire out Dubois for sure. But I imagine that Dubois' coach Don Charles is going to put together a game plan of, if it was me, I would be targeting the body a lot in the first 6 rounds. If you headhunt with Usyk, he's going to make you miss. So I think put the money in the bank and land some telling body shots in the first half of the fight to slow him down. I think we've seen that Usyk doesn't particularly like it to the body as well. So I think headhunting would be a mistake. But yeah, go to the body early and then take him out in the second half of the fight. That's my prediction. We'll see if it comes true. It's at the Tottenham Hotspur's stadium once more. That's where the Joshua fight was too. It was an absolute nightmare to get home from, so I'm not looking forward to that. The police and the routing to the tube at the Joshua fight, it was just an absolute shambles last time. So I need to mentally prepare for that, particularly if I have work early on Sunday. I am down to work on Sunday, but it's unlikely to be early. It's more likely to be afternoon. So we're just coming out on 9 Elms now. We're right next to the River Thames. I've been working a huge amount of nights recently, so my head's not really been as in boxing as it normally is. So at the moment I'm not sure if I know what any of the undercard fights are. I suspect they won't be that spectacular as the main event sells itself. Really, it could be a coming out party for Daniel Dubois, because despite the fact he knocked Joshua out, he's not really become the crossover name and personality. Well, he's nothing like what Anthony Joshua was. He's a more reserved guy, Daniel Dubois. However, most people, because of the Tyson Fury fights, the Joshua fights, yeah, and being Ukrainian, Usyk is well known. If Dubois were to beat him, well, for one, he becomes undisputed world champion, and you know that would certainly get mainstream crossover recognition. But if he were to spectacularly defeat Usyk, it certainly could make him a crossover star. You know, whether he's got the personality to maintain that, that's another thing. Joshua wore it pretty well. I don't know whether Dubois has quite the same, what's the right word, panache. But we'll see. I mean, basically, I think it's kind of the classic fight. It's the guy with good footwork, good skills against you know, larger, harder punching opponent. In my mind, really the classic matchup. So I really been wrong many times before, but I can't really see it being a bad fight. The first fight they had wasn't a bad fight, and I believe Dubois has definitely improved since then. I'm not sure Usyk's improved that much since then, so I think it will be, even if Usyk were to win, you know, which I'm sure he is the bookie's favourite to do so, even if he were to win, I think it will be a closer fight than last time. But we'll see. I'm looking forward to it. Meeting up with an old friend to go see it. I'm sure we will have a few pints in London as well. So yeah, just looking forward to it.